this was a Brighton team that was some first-team players and some squad players. And they've run out comfortable winners, and they could have won more. Yes, Janusz is talking about Marcus Rashford playing well. No one cares if you're a Man United fan that Marcus Rashford played well. They care about the fact their team lost 3-1 and could have lost by more. What was the atmosphere like?
Well, Janusz is right. I mean, United started quite well, and it felt like the crowd had turned up at Old Trafford really with a point to prove as well after those 2 weeks of controversy. There was a lot of energy in the stadium. United's start helped that. You know, there was a couple of chances, a couple of heavy challenges, which also always helps to raise the fans. And then Brighton score their first goal, and the energy just disappears. It disappears from the stadium. It disappears from the team. And really, United were lucky for a spell after that to hold on and only be 1-0 down. The goals, Brighton's goals, have come on the break today, but this is no smash and grab. Brighton have had more possession, they've had more shots on target. They were well-deserved winners. In fact, at the end of the game, United had a little bit of spell of pressure at 3-1 down and had the ball for a little bit. The Brighton fans in the corner of the stadium were singing, "We want our ball back," because they'd had it for so long. That was the kind of game that it was. And the worry for Ten Hag is that even last season, where there were lots of ups and downs, the one constant that they had was winning their home games and keeping clean sheets at home as well. And now apparently they can't even do that. It really is a worry for United. And Janusz is right. United look like a team in trouble, and it certainly won't get any easier for them. They've got Bayern Munich in the Champions League away on Wednesday, and then they've got a really awkward trip to Burnley the following weekend. You know, if they don't win either of those two games, I'm saying now that I think they're already in a little bit of a crisis. You know, fast forward a week and they don't win either of those two games, it really will be panic stations.
Rob, 64th minute. They're 2-0 down, Manchester United. They take off what they thought was going to be their goal scorer, but ultimately the ball had crossed the line earlier from Marcus Rashford's cutback, Rasmus Højlund. The thing that struck me was the reception that decision got. What message were the Man United fans saying to a manager who has got them out of trouble and has really turned them around? But when they need goals, they take off Højlund. Was that a surprise, that reception?
It was, because obviously we've been speaking for the last 2 weeks about this Sancho situation, and the feeling among fans during all of that was that they are going to back the manager over Jadon Sancho. Their trust in this manager is absolute. Well, today when he decided to take off Højlund and put on Anthony Martial, there was loud boos ringing around the whole of Old Trafford, and that really, for me, was the first sign of support or dissent against Ten Hag. It wasn't massive, and it wasn't sustained. There was cheers and claps when Højlund eventually went off and Martial came on. But it really does show that the atmosphere around this club is really disintegrating. The one thing that Man United fans can probably agree on at the moment is that Ten Hag is the right man for this job. The problem is that today we've seen the first signs of, not upset, probably that's too strong of a word, but dissent, certainly dissent. Ultimately, you're booing a decision that your manager has made. I'm sure that Ten Hag will come out afterwards and say that, Højlund's not played an awful lot of football. He had to come off. It was pre-planned after about an hour. It wasn't a comment on his overall performance, which I thought was okay. But it's just another thing to throw into the mix. Another problem that Ten Hag will have to answer now in the post-match press conference.